politicians. They knew that the public knew basically that I had a concern for the young people, concern for people in general. And the whole training, as with my master's degree, was basically in a helping profession. So I think being an educator definitely worked to my benefit, and I think that was a significant part of it.
Involvement in the Cherry Hill School District does place one in a winning arena, with our students garnering accolades in virtually all disciplines. In sports, our athletes have won 21 sectional championships, brought back the gold 72 times in league competition, have chalked up 111 conference wins, grabbed 70 South Jersey titles, and have taken it all back to Cherry Hill, winning state champion titles a total of 40 times. Our thespians consistently win individual awards, and the district routinely places first in the Bucks County Regional One-Act Play competitions. Each year, Cherry Hill has the highest number of placements in honors instrumental and vocal groups, including all South Jersey, all state, and all Eastern orchestras and choral groups. In 1990, we were the only district to place 2 students in the National Honors Orchestra. The chess team has won the state championship 5 years in a row and recently placed 3rd in the national competition. Both high schools have been winners on television's Knowledge Bowl, and both have taken firsts in the American Scholastic Press Contest. Our foreign language scholars have placed 1st and 2nd in national French competitions, and 2 of our students have made it to the International Science Olympiad, where they had to best over 15,000 other entrants just to obtain the honor of participating. We are the only district to have won consecutive mock trial state championships, and last year placed 3rd nationally in that competition. Cherry Hill's SAT grades average 100 points higher than other New Jersey school districts. For more than 10 years, we've had an average of 58 seniors receive district commendation for their academic achievement based on grades and those SAT scores. And for more than a decade, we've averaged 16 National Merit Scholars per year, consistently more than any other district in the state.
Congratulations.
Taxes and the Barclay Farmstead, John Holden's pet project, took a front seat during Rocco's administration.
During my tenure as mayor, we were able to cut the tax rate. I think that that's kind of significant in the total picture for the residents of the community in terms of this particular facility, you know, our ability to keep it open, to get it on its kind of journey, since it was a rather new venture for the municipality. We feel very proud about that.
In 1976, Mayor Rocco and his wife Mildred renewed their wedding vows at the farmstead, attended by friends Jim and Joyce Rosa and the Rocco daughters. It was the first of many weddings to be held at the historic home site, which uses the money it gets from these celebrations to help defray operating costs. Rocco also had some duties as mayor that he didn't particularly like.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like the way that we collected the state rebates. We, as the municipality, are the tax collector, so to speak, and we'd have to collect the money, send it to Trenton, and Trenton would then write a check and send it back to the taxpayers. So I always thought that was kind of a long way around, when we could have just as easily returned the money to the taxpayers at the time.
Rocco went on to higher political office, becoming the state assemblyman for the 6th district, the office he still holds today. In the late 70s, the Democratic Party regrouped and backed the New Spirit team. And 3 members from that team, Maria Barnaby Greenwald, Bernard Platt, and Howard Gall, were all to serve as Cherry Hill mayor. As top vote-getter on the team, Maria Greenwald was selected to become the first woman mayor the township ever had.
We were called the New Spirit team, and it was as incredible and unbelievable as that. I know many people spend a lifetime getting ready for government. I was very fortunate.
Mayor Greenwald turned over the mayoral post to a fellow New Spirit team member in 1979 when she opted to run for a higher political office. But her participation in Cherry Hill politics was to become even stronger in the next decade. Bernard Platt, owner of the Platt Funeral Home, was the next council member to assume the job as mayor. And as he told me, he thinks in politics, some things just never change.
We were the new breed of Democrat, so to speak, at that time. And we were running to give the government back to the people and more of a voice for the people in the government. And also that we wanted to keep, it's ironic that we want to keep county politics out of Cherry Hill, and the same thing has happened here 10 years later. So.
Platt stated growth of Cherry Hill during his tenure was relatively slow.
It was not tremendous. Cherry Hill, I think the census in 1980 listed Cherry Hill of about 68,000 people or something like that. And the growth was kind of leveled off. It didn't spurt until toward the end of our term, and then it just, busted open.
The Arab oil embargo during the mid-70s made America very aware of our precarious economic position in the world. That international problem, coupled with the local reality of huge numbers of Cherry Hill commuters clogging the roads each day, prompted Platt to rethink the transportation needs and potential solutions to it for the township.
I think the most controversial thing, and the other thing that I'm equally as proud of, is that we did a study on public transportation for the township of Cherry Hill. The one thing that Cherry Hill does not have is a public transportation system. And at that time, gas was approaching $1.50 a gallon or something like that. And everybody was concerned, how are you going to get from this point to this point, and how are you going to move, people. And I fought to have a study done. And that was very, very controversial because there were other members of council who thought it was a waste of time and a waste of money. We even looked into the possibility of having a public transportation system funded by Cherry Hill, and they were against that, but I think that was probably the most controversial.
The idea of a Cherry Hill-funded mass transportation system didn't take hold, so planning to preserve the roads was Platt's next step.
Roads always played a major part in construction in the wintertime when they had to be cleaned from snow. And because of the way Cherry Hill is laid out, and we have highways that belong to the state and highways that belong to the county, and people don't know which are county roads and which are state roads, so they always used to call us and blame us for not clearing those roads. But we did start a 10-year reconstruction program for the roads of the township owned, and that program is in force now, and a lot of the roads are getting resurfaced and rebuilt, which is very important to the infrastructure of the township.
A politician's biggest problem is always money. Getting enough of it to fund services the population needs and expects is an ongoing battle. Hence the ever-vigilant eye on securing new ratables to help with the tax base. But lucrative ratables can literally go up in smoke, as happened in April 1977 when the Garden State racetrack on Route 70 burned. It left Cherry Hill with a deep financial dent.
When we took office, the racetrack, of course, had just been destroyed. And there was controversy about the racetrack and the rebuilding of the racetrack and so forth. That came about, and that was always in the back of our minds, and that was always an issue that continued for the whole time that we were in office. The other thing, Subaru of America, I can honestly say that I played a very important part because I took the call from Marvin Riesenbach, who was the executive vice president of Subaru, and we talked, and he asked me what I thought about it, and I told him we would do everything that we could to bring Subaru to Cherry Hill.
People who walk, jog, or drive along Cooper River Park will notice a piece of sculpture that is a monument commissioned by the Platt administration, one of his proudest efforts as mayor.
Probably one of the greatest things, I think, is the memorial to the victims of the Holocaust, which I spearheaded. And that is one of 6 monuments on public ground in the country. And that represents probably one of the nicest things that we have in Cherry Hill, a monument to all of the victims of the Holocaust.
Looking back, how does he think his administration was perceived?
Elected officials, public officials, always feel they get bad press. I